Community organizers and service providers in Bloomington are concerned about the safety of people experiencing homelessness as the weather gets colder. Ben Taboutier reports on the effect a new rule that bans camping tents in public parks during the daytime is having on those who are looking for winter shelter.
People stood in line last week at Seminary Park while volunteers with Help Ourselves served up breakfast. Help Ourselves serves breakfast there every Tuesday and has been around for a couple years. Afeni X, the group's head comrade, said the daytime ban on tents implemented in August increased stress for people experiencing homelessness.
So I'd just say there's been more radicalization in terms of relationships and just reactions to something so hard being pressed. And so many people hang out here, and then, you're not allowed to have a structure out here anymore.
But she's also noticed an increased desire for unity among people coming for breakfast. One person in line for breakfast, Roosevelt Hawthorne, has been homeless for 7 years. He says the ban on tents affected his ability to find safe places to stay in the evening with his partner.
Most of us already got mental health issues or drug abuse issues and stuff like that. So to feel turned away and stuff like that, right, we try to, overshadow that depression with some type of intoxicant and stuff like that, right, because we had that in our past and stuff like that.
The ban disconnected Hawthorne and his partner from people they'd been in touch with before because people are going to different sides of town. Hawthorne says mutual aid like Help Ourselves makes him feel more connected to the community. The Indiana Recovery Alliance reported an increase of accidental overdoses in Monroe County last week. Its executive director, Nicholas Voiles, says it doesn't normally issue drug supply warnings because it doesn't have the technology to test drug samples and must go off anecdotal evidence. Outreach with the Recovery Alliance goes 5 days a week to meet people experiencing homelessness at encampments in Bloomington and provide services. Voiles says the ban's made it harder to find people and worries that the ban makes it more likely for people to use substances alone.
So you have this interaction with other people, you have these people that bring services there that know where the people are. When you strip that and put it on edge, people are just left free-falling. You know what I mean? They will have to find another place to use, which is scary.
But he says you can't attribute a rise in overdoses to any one issue, like a tent policy. A lot of factors need to be considered.
You're disrupting a series of lives, right? So you have a normal stream of lives that go into this park during the day. They might just be laying there because all night long they couldn't find a safe place.
Before August, tents were already not allowed in parks after 11 p.m. Voiles says winter is always a dangerous time of year for people experiencing homelessness. But because tents aren't allowed in parks at all now, services and outreach will need to be ramped up to help bridge issues of sheltering during the day. The Bloomington Board of Parks Commissioners passed the daytime rule against tents in parks in August, citing almost 900 total incident reports at Switchyard and Seminary Parks between August 2022 and July 2023. Bloomington Parks Department Interim Director Tim Street says the rule was implemented to make the parks safer and more accessible to everyone. He says they do get incident reports still, and a few months is too early to quantify the rule's effectiveness.
We want to keep continuing to look at it and see if we feel like it's being effective and helping parks meet that goal of being open and safe for everybody.
Street says they haven't confiscated anyone's tent yet, and if someone has a tent up during the day, resource officers with the Bloomington Police Department work with them. The executive director of Beacon Inc., Forrest Gilmore, says its nightly shelter has 40 beds and is typically full. He says right now they're getting a lot of requests from people for blankets, tents, sleeping bags, and other cold weather gear. Hawthorne says he and his partner argue regularly over where they're going to sleep and move around nightly.
During this season particularly, we try to stick together because we don't want to freeze to death and stuff like that, right?
Hawthorne says the community needs more housing options with fewer requirements. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Ben Taboutier.